And you are also very innovative. For example, in my conversation with Alicia, she mentioned your virtual office website that is revolutionized industry here, made a lot of people upset. Just a few words about that, because that is very different approach, and I think you are the only company who is doing that.
Yeah, I didn't think it would create such a stir in the industry, but maybe I undervalued it. So I've never been a huge fan of IDX. I mean, it is what we have in the industry. And we've used it and been, I guess you could say, a beneficiary of it. But I remember even in the early 2000s when the concept was coming around that, okay, well, if you're going to share digitally, and I understand the MLS became the provider and how do you pick and choose, but if you're going to share digitally, we're now going to say that it's an all or nothing, and here's where you can place your listings. And I never got it. The concept was that's best for the consumer because they can find everywhere. I'm not really sure it is. I don't know how diluting the value of a home, of a listing, and putting on every thousands of websites that you don't know who's responding to them. You don't know if the person even knows the market. Are they just buying leads? Are they scraping and scrubbing? Is it a bot just going around and just putting in a drip campaign?
Even if it's up to date.
I never am sure. And I used to liken it that cooperation is great. We believe in cooperation in the industry and the MLS and put our listings there. And if you have a buyer that you've procured and you want to show my listing and vice versa, the idea of I've got the listings, you're going to set up your whole business. Another company's business model is I'm just going to take leads and get half the commission, but I'm not going to really focus on listings. So I know Howard Hanna never gets the chance to make that commission back. Is how I've always looked at it. And I know people disagree with that, but I've also, my simple aspect is if I have a listing and I put a for sale sign in it on the house across the street, another company wouldn't come and put their for sale sign up and say to the owner, is it okay if I put my for sale sign here because maybe Hobie won't answer the phone as quickly as I would? Like agents would go crazy if that happened, or same with a print ad or a postcard, but digitally because of MLSs. So we have looked for years and said, more and more companies like this, and there's nothing wrong, those are great companies. Like that's their model, I don't criticize it. I just know our model is to be more centric on the listing and getting the right information to the customer. So we looked at a market like Cleveland, where we are today, where we have a significant listing market share. And we said, would we be better to create a vow to say, we'll share with everybody and we're going to go and get registration. We'll show the Howard Hanna listings. And if you register, you can see the whole MLS. And it's not really to compete with like a Zillow or Realtor.com, because I don't know that brokerage websites can, but can we be stronger than other brokerage websites? With a vow, you can put a lot more detail and data for the consumer to share. With a vow, we have a registration so we know who we're marketing to and how we can go back to them with even cross-section of marketing products, as opposed to a stranger that might have put in an unverified email address. So we can have mortgage products and insurance products and different products that we look at a vow and we can start to develop a customer relationship with a little more detail, with transparency. Here's how much the buyer agency commissions are. Here's the days on market. And so we thought as a lead generator and as an experience would be good. And as we started looking at it over the last couple of years, it's been like a 2-year process of testing this. Once we saw some of these lawsuits that the industry is looking at, where we could be splitting commissions, we've really said, well, how do we create a better experience for our buyers? And why is it that this argument that the buyer, things aren't transparent, and even if there's agency, there's buyer beware. So we said, well, okay, if we're going to try to get more exclusive buyer agency contracts, and we can also give them more data and say, in the data, what we're providing you is everything we see as an agent in the MLS. Everything's transparent, everything's disclosed. We think that might become a better consumer experience. And so we decided to test it in Cleveland. And a lot of people were frustrated and upset about it across the industry. But other people have called me and said, hey, it's a great idea. We're not going to take the risk. We're going to watch and let you tell us how it works. But I will say that it's only been we're about 6 weeks in.
It is a brand new one.
It's brand new. And as of today, we're 6 weeks in. But what we've tracked is that our web traffic across the whole website's up like 22%. So it's been a good whole site. But in Northern Ohio, where we have the vow, we're up like 41% in traffic. So one thing, it has led to traffic. The other thing is that our registration form, so you could just go and look at the registration. People would say, oh, nobody will register. our registrations are up like 600% in Northeast Ohio.
Really?
I mean, because what's happening is people are saying, okay, well, what else is there for me to see?
Yeah.
And I want to see the experience. Now, we are fortunate that like you can go into certain markets and do a search and there might be 30 homes for sale. And it will say there are 30 homes for sale in your search. 17 of them are below, listed with Howard Hanna. If you'd like to see the rest, register here.
Yeah.
And once you're registered, you see everything. So, you know, it's, and I think that ties back to what you're all doing. I mean,
First,
you know, tie it back to you guys since you're here, VHT and Matterport. You know, how do we make, you know, we talked about that this morning. How do we get richer content? Anybody can put, you know, your product. You know, we own the Matterport product's great. And you can have that there and have the greater experience. But you know, is it something you're providing because you get more registration? Are you providing because you've got more clients so you can put more dollars at work because of the stickier aspect and the photography tying with it and everything else? And, you know, as you know, you've even got some people out there that are making that their new business plan.
Right.
You know?
Yeah, it's definitely richer media, more engaging.
And we're all about data as well, right, Jay?
Yeah.
So data plays a big role in our everyday life, and we care about it. And
understand who's coming through. It's interesting. I bet you it wasn't your customers that were upset about your virtual office assistant. It's probably
lots of competitors.
It was the competitors that were probably more frustrated with it. So
yeah, definitely.
Yeah.